how does this compare to other systems? This is a question that I often get asked that, I've never heard of a PSA, and how does this differ from project management, for example? So I've got 3 columns here. First is classic project management tools, right? The stuff like the Asanas, the Trellos, the Jiras, the Basecamps. We've probably all used most of these. We probably love some of these. They're really good at what they do, which is task management and collaboration, but that's where they stop. They're not business management platforms, they're project management platforms, right? So they don't do budgets, they don't look at your utilization, and they're not there to do reporting for your business, and certainly not invoicing, right? So we go to the next level, which is what I call these modern project management toolkits, stuff like the logos you see on screen. So these give you more modules to play with, and you can bolt on extras through integrations, right? Again, really good tools. The problem is you're still navigating a patchwork. They're powerful for task management, but they don't give you that single source of truth for your business. What I mean is that they're not designed, again, for building and tracking your project budgets, for invoicing, and for business level reporting. So you've gone from maybe having 24 tools, maybe you've consolidated some of those and you might have 12 tools plus one of these. And so it's taken over some of those functionalities into one place because it's given you all these modules, but they're not necessarily tightly integrated, and they still don't do the full picture of kind of the budget building and the reporting and the invoicing and all that kind of stuff. So that's how we move into the PSA space. And these are what I call the legacy PSAs, okay? So they were the kind of the first attempt to bring everything together into one place, and they do that. Your quoting, your projects, your invoicing, the reporting. The issue is, unfortunately, for a lot of these platforms, they were designed like 20 years ago, and it feels like they're stuck in that era. I brought in a similar tool to one of these at my past agency before I discovered Scoro. And thankfully, that platform's gone out of business, so nobody else has to suffer. But it did everything we needed to, nearly everything. But our team hated using it. So the tools end up being quite clunky. They're not super user friendly. And people end up resenting having to spend all day in a platform that's just very frustrating to use. So these kind of platforms, they solve that kind of disconnect problem that we talked about earlier, but they haven't cracked the usability problem. And so that leads me into why kind of when I came across Scoro, it was very much a sight for sore eyes for me when I was researching where to move to next after that past platform for us was shutting down. So I consider this stage higher than those legacy PSAs in the sense that it's a modern PSA. It combines the best of both worlds. It's got all the PSA functionality, but with the usability and design that people actually enjoy using. The interface was actually one of the key reasons we selected Scoro. We'd used that other PSA platform and knew we needed one, but everything else looked so clunky, and I know how frustrated my team was. I couldn't bear to subject anybody to another platform like that. I wanted people to be happier. And other things that really stood out to me was the momentum behind the product. That product was shut down by that business, and I didn't want to go through that again. It's a lot of work to move to a platform. And so having to shut down after 2 years and start that whole search process is not something I wanted to deal with. So that was one of my requirements, that I need to see momentum behind the product. Other things that are quite cool is that everyone sees what they need to. So if you're the CEO, the finance director, the ops director, you've got dashboards and access to the parts of the system you need. If you're an account manager or project manager, you see what you need to see. And if you're a specialist, a designer, a developer, a strategist, a consultant, you see what you need to see, which is probably just your projects and how you want to track your time. This is literally a message I got from one of my ex-colleagues who was a graphic designer last Friday saying, "Hi, Harv, I just wanted to say I started a new job and I realize now that Scoro is a good app." So I'm not going to name names of what they're using now, but a bit of trauma there for her, perhaps going back to something that was in that legacy space.